Hi everybody, Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today I've got Roberto, and we're going to be talking about the decentralized future of IT. Roberto, where can people find you?
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you for having me in your show. It's a pleasure and an honor. If people want to reach me, the simple way is a very short website, rcx.it. IT, like information technology, or Italy, where the country I'm from, RCX, my initials, or in LinkedIn is RC10.
Okay.
So that we discovered that the X is the numeral 10, so RC10, same thing, RCX.
I see. So give us a little bit about a detail about your background, because you've been involved in decentralized systems for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I had a passion for computers, coding since I was a very little kid, and I've been working with it. And telecommunication also been one of the prominent interests. In all means, I also had a citizen band, walkie-talkie radios,
Oh, right. Okay,
to have.
CB, yeah. I had
Yeah,
one of those.
correct. So it is been the ability as a little kid. I would take a coin, go in a phone booth, dial a number in Japan. Somebody will answer the phone, then the line will drop. But the idea that I could move somebody in Japan from Italy, it was very exciting, right? So in this aspect, doing remote communication was interesting. So when you can do them with a computer and you can add a lot of other things in it. So from day zero, I've been there, and I was into peer-to-peer networks because are very fascinating kind of things. I maybe give a short explanation later if somebody is interested in hearing that. And peer-to-peer network led to blockchain. So I was there from day zero in the world of blockchain. Blockchain is one of the most used tool to decentralize, and decentralize is an important thing. I will then explain also why I am advocating decentralization in
So,
IT.
so, so explain to us the difference between centralized and decentralized.
Sure. Well, a clear example is when there is a central point of failure, a central point of trust that there is need to be put on. So, if a
Email,
very
for
very
example.
basic, sorry.
Email, for example, is
Well,
centralized.
email is a little different. So let's go to a different, more practical concept in transferring money. If I need to do a bank transfer, I need to trust the bank because I have no control over what they're doing. And through the bank, I arrive at destination money. In a blockchain, if I send a Bitcoin to somebody, it goes straight from me to the other person without any man in the middle. And so the system is decentralized as well. Email is an interesting thing that you say because email at the beginning were really decentralized. So every office or house had their own mail server, and people that were sending an email was from my computer to my mail server in my house, and then from there to the mail server of the destination office, and then from there to their computer. Now all the mail in the world are in the hand of four companies, like all the Gmail with their domain, Outlook, and Microsoft with their things. So this end up being centralized again. So it's no more a network, federated network of a computer, but it becomes centralized. And now we are in a trend to go toward decentralization of a lot of services.
So what is it that give us an example of a decentralized service.
Well, all the things that are in blockchain, we heard about NFTs and other things. So let's put the basis on why this is a powerful thing and how it deploys, right? If you think we are moving the different year, there was industrial era, now are in the era of information, and we went in digitalizing content that was analog. So is it music? It was a vinyl disc or a tape and become a CD or data in the computer. The movie VHS rather than DVDs and again data in the computer. Radio, it was just waveform and now is data also there transferring stream online. And then we start transmitting this data around. But the biggest issue in the world of digital content is that it's very hard to create something unique. If you think if I go and buy a vinyl disc, I had one piece. In the moment that I give it to you, I don't have it anymore.
Mm,
While an MP3 file, I can make a copy and paste, and both of us have it, right?
mm.
So the biggest difficulty and the biggest obstacle to make to bring to fruition all the digital things was the capacity to render them unique. If you think a blockchain has this power, because if I give you my Bitcoin, I don't have it anymore. And the Bitcoin is a total digital asset. So if it's not a Bitcoin, but is the equivalent of the registration of my car in my name, and I can sell my car to you, transferring the title of the car in the blockchain. And this will be something that in the decentralized term goes from me to you without having to go to the car registry place and change the name because they hold the value of the database with the name, who's the owner of the car, they know. In this way will be something that is done directly, one person to the other, thanks to this technology that is decentralized, is in a peer-to-peer network. And a peer-to-peer network is a network of computer where no computer is more important than the others. Because if there was one that direct everything, you attack the one or you kill the one and you shut down the full network. But being every computer as much as important as any other one, even if you kill three of them, three more comes out in another place and the network's still alive. So it's impossible to kill it if people love to maintain it up. So this is really a system with an uptime that is 100% constantly, and is a very more powerful and more democratic, if you want, more guaranteed for people to get access to it.
And what's I mean, I can understand that if you don't have one centralized system and you've got multiple computers and if one goes down, all the others are still up. But from a consumer point of view, what benefit does this decentralized system give me?
So there are different levels. If you think, I do believe that the final user, once he's guaranteed that the service is using is safe, they shouldn't even bother to know what there is behind, right? I was talking with a kid that was using Facebook in his cell phone, says, there is internet. Says, no, there is no internet. But so if you're using Facebook, this is Facebook, is no internet, because this kid didn't understand that you need internet in order to access data remotely, right? And this is beautiful in a way, if you want, because people just need to use the service and finish. But if you elevate a little more higher, a very practical example is for the Swift network that the banks use to send messages one to the other. That's centralized, meaning that is in the hand of a company from Belgium, wherever, that control all the messaging that the banks send to each other. In the moment that they want to embargo a country, like happened with Russia, they cut them off from the network because they have the control of who access, who doesn't access it. So they have the power to say no more, even in behalf of all the other people in the network, and they may wanted to keep being in connection, because centralizing, you centralize the power of the decision. If they were connected in a peer-to-peer network, it would be impossible to say, I cut off this country, because you have no control of the connection. You can just decide, I don't work with them, so I don't send message, which is more democratic because people has the freedom of choice. You cannot be imposed a choice by a central party, above your control. And this is the power of decentralizing, is to move the decision place from a third party that decide for you, sometimes for your good, but some other time not, on your own hand, which come with a lot of responsibility, because if you make bad choices, then nobody else can come there and fix them for you. So it is an important shift that is cultural on one side and practical and technical on the other. And we are on the embryonic stage now, but is happening and is moving, and more services are moving on. I give you an example. Before Elon Musk purchased Twitter, Dorsey was the CEO, was very frustrated because the government was coming to him asking him to take down certain content, certain things, or making them responsible for the content and the things that are there. And he'd been working in a project, which is still working today, where the content is in a decentralized storage, so they has no direct responsibility on the content. People upload and they're responsible for themselves. So you just provide an interface to access this content. So when somebody can ask you to take down the content, you say, look, I have no power over the control of the content. Go to the person. And you will see that the shift on a peer-to-peer network that happened in the past is with the music and movie industry, when people were downloading music through Napster, through those applications, those servers, where the law enforcement would go there and shut down the server, arrest the person running it. As soon as BitTorrent came out, which is a peer-to-peer network, law enforcement had nobody to go to because there is no central point for BitTorrent. So the regulator had to change the law from illegal to distribute became illegal to consume, right? Because this shows that there is no way to really control or go there. So that wasn't important in the moment that they need to do cryptocurrencies, but you can apply for many other things, removing the need to go to a government office for a bureaucratic reason. But you think my driver license is in the blockchain. The police officer stop, check the VIN of my car in the blockchain, give me a fine that is in the blockchain. I can pay it remotely, and everything is certified cryptographically. So it's 100% sure there is no, like an auditable. It's very powerful as a system.
So talk us through. You gave us some examples there about blockchain. Talk us through what is blockchain and some examples of that.
All right. Blockchain is this system for which users can post instruction requests in a database if you want. There is large and in a peer-to-peer network. Okay. The peer-to-peer network works in a way that has some rules. Let's make an example with Bitcoin. If I have 5 Bitcoin and I make a transaction where I want to send you 10 Bitcoin, my transaction is rejected because I don't have them. So there is simple rules that says in order to send, you need to have, okay?
Yep.
But you can make more complex rules. For example, I built a very interesting system for trade. If you think a trade happen between different countries with different legislation, with different language, and the minimum common denominator is paper and pen. That's why in trade there is a lot of documents that fly around with the couriers. People say, oh, the stuff is already at the port, I cannot collect because documentation is not ready, right? So giving a sort of a phone network, if you want, some smarter way of doing emails, where people is guaranteed that the data they go through is validated by the rules that they can set. So you have a system where you can go and do a lot of things without having to worry the people is tampering with document, falsifying document, or bribing somebody to get something that they should not get, because the rules are enforced by computer and enforced by a network where you cannot corrupt all the computer of the network to change the rule or to bypass the rules. So it's very powerful to implement a system where many people want to work together, but they don't want to elect a third party to be the holding of the trust and the responsibility and the truth, but they want to each party being able and relax on the fact that things are the way they are.
And so, I mean, part of blockchain is about data, and there's a discussion around decentralization about at the moment, for example, Facebook own a lot of my data, and the discussion is about how I can actually get and own the data myself. So, does decentralization allow me to do that?
Yeah, this is something that can be done in the decentralized manner, but could be done also in non-decentralized manner, right? So the way that you allow access to data, for example, a very simple thing is the KYC procedure. Okay, KYC is know your client. It means that a phone company cannot give a phone line to somebody that is a criminal, for example, or sell something. So in the moment they need to do a minimum of verification. If you think when I do, for example, I open a bank account, I do the phone line, I purchase, make a loan, I need to do KYC with all of this part, which means I give all my data to them. And then if my data change, I need to keep updating each of them. Differently, in an application of blockchain, I could have my data in the blockchain. I can grant access thanks to the key to decrypt the content to those that I want. When I modify the content, if they're still authorized, they're gonna get access to the new version. If not. And in this way, I don't even have to go and remember. I change my address. oh my God, I need to communicate it to the people of the driver license. I need to tell it to, I would do it in a single time, and people that are authorized to can access to the up-to-date data, which is much more practical, secure, and valid, right?
So talk to us about NFTs, and explain to us about what they are and the impact of what they are from a decentralized perspective.
Okay, so NFT have, um, surf the wave of this fact that you can get singularity, unicity in a digital world. I find personally crazy that people paid the millions of dollars for the picture of monkeys. Okay, that is an excitement, but doesn't make any sense. But if, in the case of the music, I want to buy an original, or I have a copy that somebody gave me, there will be no way to verify it. With an NFT that points to a title of ownership of the original song, then I know that this is originally mine. But also think about all the digital art that is being created. There are artists that create video composition, that create digital art. Everybody can have a copy. I have a copy of the Mona Lisa because I take a picture and I printed it out, but I don't own the Mona Lisa, right? With digital art, it will be hard to say because you can copy one to one, bit by bit. So you have an identical replica to the original. In this case, an NFT, but as a blockchain, is the application, can guarantee that I am the owner. So if I want to sell it to anybody else, I can sell it by transferring the ownership certificate. That is the NFT that brings the unique signature of the author, my signature as the owner, and so on and so forth. There are companies that use NFT for giving warranty. For example, think a clothing company that has outlet and shops all around the world. How complicated would be to have an audit of all the maintenance done in a piece of cloth, the validity of the certificate, the insurance, and whatever else. With an NFT, I have a small microchip in my clothes that has a unique ID. When I go to the shop, they can fish it from the blockchain, see if it's still valid. They do fix my button that was broken. They add the record that says we fixed the button at this location this day. The ownership is mine. Somebody steal it from me, I can reclaim it. So it will be very easy because it's a bottom-up access. So nobody need to ask authorization to anybody else to get data that is publicly available on the blockchain. If they have the means to access it, they can do it. So in the case, it's a fantastic use and solution. Loyalty points for big chains. There are millions of use cases. The supply chain is a fantastic use case as well because there are so many different companies between transportation, production, collection, and so on, distribution, that hardly they can all sit together at the table and agree to use an IT system to coordinate their own thing. Also because it crosses different production, different product. There are items that goes here and there. With the blockchain, this is very easy because they can go on board simply by participating. So there are millions of use cases, and slowly people go out of this big hype that blockchain had with NFT, with cryptocurrencies, which are fantastic things, but it will be understood that there is much safer and much more practical to use a blockchain as a solution, or blockchain or derivatives out of blockchain, because there are millions of different technology based on the same concept for many other things.
So I think certainly with the advent of artificial intelligence and AI is the thing that people seem to be talking about. The view of blockchain and NFTs, and that we don't seem to be talking about that anymore. I mean, there was about 12 months when everyone seemed to be talking about NFTs. But it sounds like from you is that there's still a lot of practical examples of how we could use blockchain, NFTs, and decentralized architecture.
Absolutely, and I tell you, I'm glad of this shift of trend from decentralization, peer-to-peer network to artificial intelligence, because 98% of these advocates then in LinkedIn, they're gonna change their specialty based on the trend of the moment, but maybe are very good to sell themselves. They were killing the market from the real experts, so now they're out. So now there is the real expert. People is outside the hype.
Of
So there
course.
are very good project that can be done. People that is serious about the technology and consultant that really know the topic are there. So it is a good thing. Nonetheless, artificial intelligence is something massive and is gonna put our lives upside down. I think in many aspects. And there is a lot of marriage between decentralizing in the centralizing artificial intelligence. There is something that I'm working on exactly is on this on the capacity to create an artificial intelligence data center that is not in a single building in the hand of one single company, but is in the hand of 10,000 different people. So there is no way to control it, because think this, an artificial intelligence is a scary animal, because now it's fun. We ask a silly question, it helps us writing a piece of text or whatever. But now the advance is a real conversation that we can have back and forth, as we're doing, me and you now. And humans are gullible. You can be the smartest person in the planet, but an artificial intelligence has the knowledge of all the humans together, and a brain that can think thousands of times faster than yours. So the comparison is like, if you think maybe trees are intelligent, they can actually move and talk to each other, but they go so slow that for us they are just something that stay there, right? We look like trees to an artificial intelligence, most probably. So we can get easily manipulated. So think about this: an artificial intelligence in the hand of somebody. They offer it for free, and they have a big sponsor. There is a company that sells I don't know, sandwiches or whatever. This artificial intelligence is gonna brainwash us and convince us to consume this product simply because that's the effect that they can have on us. And this is for good for political election and other things. We already saw Facebook, how powerful it is, and believe me, if Facebook can affect us 10 on 100, artificial intelligence can do 80 on 100. So very important, decentralized artificial intelligence. Actually, this is a good reason somebody want to join this battle with me, contact me, because we need more power and force to bring these things ahead. But that's a very important thing.
Roberto, thank you so much for coming on and talking about decentralized systems. It's a fascinating subject. Where can people find you?
And again, rcx.it as a URL. In LinkedIn, usual linkedin.com/in/rc10. And I am there.
Roberto, thank you so much for coming on and talking